You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to Living Full Out Show. I'm Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about disappointments in life. When we feel as though we've let ourselves down, we've let others down, and how do you climb back up that hill to where you feel successful, you feel a sense of pride, and you don't wallow in that disappointment. We're going to be talking about how to leap from that disappointment lily pad to the success train. And we're also going to be taking your calls. Again, that number is 800-333-0001. So if you are disappointed in your life or trying to, get that regret out of your system, something you maybe made a mistake about or failed at, this is the time I want you to call in so that you can get that motivation and really thrive with the rest of your day, week, and year. Also, we're going to be coming back in our next segment with Michael Montgomery. His story is so inspiring. He was very successful at football, but then he had heart disease, and that set him back, and he was disappointed in his body failing him. But yet, he did go on to become a Green Bay Packer. How did he do that? And if you want to hear today's show again, because I know so many times I get emails from listeners who say, when can I hear the replay? If you do want to hear it again, go to livingfullout.com, click on the radio show tab, and all of the episodes will be waiting there for you. And lastly, if you have questions on today's topic, on disappointment, I'd like you to reach out to us. We want to make sure that you're supported not just within the show, but even outside the show, so you're truly living your life full out. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go ahead and say hello to them. Hello, welcome to Living Full Out Show. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Hi, how can we help you today?
Hi, my name's Sarah, and I was wondering, with my job and all, how can I better communicate with my coworkers?
So in what way are you having a challenge with your coworkers?
Well, my issue with my coworkers is they often don't follow the rules or they're not enforcing what they should, and I don't want to come across aggressive. So how do I communicate how I need them to do a better job without coming across as I'm bossing them around?
Gotcha. So always keep in mind the cause and effect, right? So let's say something were to happen. Somebody did something. They were just kind of lazy. They didn't check the box. They didn't cross those T's and dot those I's. They were kind of complacent in their work. There's going to be a effect of that, right? Maybe the work is not going to be produced at the quality it should be. Maybe a customer is going to come back disappointed. So I think a lot of times, rather than coming at them like you're talking at them, you want to talk with them. Kind of camaraderie. So you just want to change your tonality in the way that you're coming at them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So people are going to be a lot more motivated when they feel like they're not being policed, they're not being told what to do. But if it's more of a camaraderie, and if you can show them that, what they're doing, that it's not going to put out a good result for the team, really building in that we're a team, I don't want to let the team down. You don't want to let the team down. We as a team want to create good service and good products, right? And I think also you can do a lot with inspiring people by giving them, good accolades or credit for what they do good, So if somebody does something good, say, oh my gosh, that was so good. That was so excellent. Or how did you think of that? Giving them positive praise. Then when they start to do something negative or they're slipping into those bad habits and you maybe talk to them about something they could do differently or better, they don't want that feedback. They want that positive feedback again. Do you see that shift?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really not about telling them what to do. You're not policing them. You're with them. It's a camaraderie thing. And I think if you do that, you're not going to feel like you're having to, tell them what to do. You're looking for them to step up and be a true partner. Okay. So I thank you so much for calling in, though, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
I really enjoyed that she called in about that question because it is a delicate balance when you're in the workplace, right? These sometimes are your friends, and you don't want to police your friends. You don't want to have to, be the parent and they're the child, right? You want to have that, even playing field. But a lot of times it does come down to the communication and finding the right style and way in which to communicate with someone. We have phones, we have emails, we have face-to-face. So you want to pick the best method to communicate with someone where they're going to receive it. So we're going to go back to the phone lines now and talk to another caller. Hello, welcome to Living Full Out Show. Thank you for calling in. How can we help you?
I'm a college student, and so I was just wondering what your advice would be on balancing personal time with the school workload.
I hate to tell you this, but it's going to get that balance is going to always be there, even beyond college, And so
Yeah.
the thing is I believe that it always comes down to passion. That's all it comes down to. Passion and urgency, those two. So it's an urgency, right, that we have to pay our bills of whatever kind. We need shelter, we need food, right? There's certain things that we have to do to satisfy certain needs. But then there's also going to be passion. And passion is when you keep your eye on the ball. You have that vision for why you're even in school, why you're even paying for the tuition, why you're studying and working those long hours. If you lose sight of that passion for what you're studying for, then it does make it more difficult. You can almost get frustrated, you get disappointed, you get a little bit upset because you're missing out on life. But if your passion is really near and dear to you and vibrant, now those long hours, the money you're paying for school, they don't hurt as bad. It doesn't feel as overwhelming. And what is it that you're trying to do? What is your ultimate goal?
I'm trying to do physical therapy.
Love it. I have a sister who's a physical therapist. She loves that career. So the thing is when you're trying to balance your personal life or maybe getting a job or whatever you want to do in addition to school, just think about that passion that you have for physical therapy. You know that you're going to put in long hours. You know that you might have to do, volunteer or internships. But gosh, when you graduate and you get that first job and you're loving what you're doing, you're actually making a difference for clients and you're actually getting paid for it. Holy cow, right? But in the meantime, the only way that you can be good for other people is to have self-care for yourself, which means that sometimes you have to unplug, turn off the TV, put away your cell phone, actually get 8 hours sleep or 7 hours, whatever you can do, right? Eating the right things. Because there is some patient down the line who you're going to be their physical therapist. You're going to make a big difference in their life. But if you don't take care of yourself, have that balance, now you're not going to be able to be that strength for them. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bad news is the pressure never goes away. The good news is you have the ability to manage it, compartmentalize if you need to, schedule things, designate your day in such a way that you do have some personal time in addition to all your commitments. I love schedules. I really believe that a schedule, as some people would look at that as restricting, I don't like a schedule. But honestly, I think there's more freedom in it because now everything is scheduled out. You're going to get everything done. And don't forget to, in that schedule, to put time in for walking to class, eating, working out, every little thing. Okay? But if you do that, I don't think you'll feel this same overwhelm that you do right now. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in.
Appreciate it.
You got it. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
So when we think about in our life where we have disappointed ourselves, a lot of times that can come from getting ourselves in a frenzy, becoming overwhelmed. We're juggling so many balls, and then all of a sudden the balls start to fall. 1, 2, 3, and then all of a sudden it's hard to get everything back on track. Take today to look in your life, what is urgent and where are your passions? And make those the forefront of all of your actions that you do in a day. We all have the same 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's just, what do we do with it? Again, I recommend scheduling it out. And if you do that, you'll know that each day you did your best. You put in the time, and you can sleep knowing that, there's always tomorrow to nip away at that to-do list. That way you won't be disappointed. Now, I want you to call in if you are still struggling with something and you're heavy on your heart, you're losing sleep. We don't want that. You can't live full out in that way. So stay with us. We're going to be coming up in our next segment with Michael Montgomery sharing his inspirational story on how he overcame disappointment. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about disappointment. And when we reach that crossroad in life where we're just like, everything I've been working towards is just falling apart, or I just can't seem to make it. And we really beat ourselves up. How do we get from that negative mindset to a place of being more productive, proactive, and more purposeful in achieving our goals? Now, our inspirational guest today, Michael Montgomery, is no stranger to disappointment. He had heart disease that he found out in college, which could have prevented him from not reaching the NFL. But thankfully, his strong mindset, his sense of purpose, his drive helped to get him to where he needed to go. So I'd very much like to welcome Michael to the show.
No, thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I want to take our audience back a little bit because you grew up with a very athletic family in the sense that your mom was a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, your family had some pretty good athletic genes, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. My mom is a Hall of Fame basketball player. I posted a little video of her making an acceptance speech in 2001 when she got inducted as a Hall of Fame basketball player. All-American, Olympian, Pan-American Games, national junior college champion. She's the all-world player, but an all-world, all-universe mother.
Now, with that came big shoes to fill in your own right. I mean, did you feel this sense of pressure growing up that you had to make it also in athletics?
Well, I had a little pressure, but I had more drive to work at it, to develop. My mother, was a big inspiration for me. But, I always knew, and deep down, I knew I had the work ethic to achieve it. So it wasn't sort of a pressure to I need to do it, but a pressure that I need to develop. Because I know becoming a professional athlete, it doesn't come easy.
Mm-hmm.
It takes years of practice and developing your craft as a player. So I knew I had the will to put the work in to make it.
Well, and I know you started out playing basketball, but then you started football in high school. And when did you know, hey, I could really go far with this? I have talent in football.
I noticed my junior year around my third or fourth game. We was playing. We was getting blown out, but I was very productive. I had a very productive game. I had 15 tackles, a sack. I was all over the place. Even though we were losing, I still was being productive, and it was natural to me the way I used my body and my arms as a defensive lineman. And I knew, with the right amount of effort and developing my talent, I knew I could go far.
Now, what I admire about you, Michael, is that here your athletics were starting to gain speed and you were starting to figure out your body and what you could do with it. But your grades weren't quite there. I know that when you graduated from high school, you went to community college, and that same physical work ethic you transferred over to your mind, to studying, to working hard so you could take that next leap to a university that would further your career. Where did that tenacity come from?
The tenacity came from was not being able to qualify to go to a Division I school. My mother always warned me while I was in high school to get my grades up. You know, you won't be able to go to them big schools you talk about where you get them letters if you don't have the proper grades. And you know, I was kind of naive to the fact that I was all American in basketball and football. If they want me, they're gonna make the colleges are gonna make it happen for me to get there. But it wasn't the case. For anybody all that's listening, for all the young athletes, if you want to go to the big college, you got to have big college grades. You know, you got to make those the SAT and the ACT scores. So it was actually a blessing in disguise. Then I chose to go to Navarro Junior College. I was humbled and motivated to get my proper grades to get Division I qualified, and go and meet a lot of great players along the way. All-American coach Chuck Lawrence, he was aiding me finding the right grades and the right classes, and Coach Fletcher, one of a predominant good coach that kind of just paved me to elevate me to get all the right grades. And I also had a great support system with my roommate, who's also the current head defensive line coach for TCU, Zarnell Fitch, who kind of just molded me and motivated me for us to get to Division I school. Because when people go to junior college, the whole goal is to get to Division I. And with the great support system they had at Navarro Junior College, with their academic structure, everything was on paper. Every class I needed to take, it was on paper. So everything fell upon me to get the grades and get to Division I qualified.
Well, what I love about that is, I mean, you had the tenacity, you had the drive, but you needed a team to also support you. And for everybody listening today, you can be that support partner for somebody, you know, guiding somebody in telling them what they need to know to get to that next level. You know, your mom encouraging you, your coaches, you know, all of that, your roommate. I love that. And then eventually you did get to that Division I school. Where did you go to?
I went to Texas A&M University.
Now, at that moment, you know, it's not the NFL yet, but you've made it to that next level. And that must have just been such a sense of accomplishment at that moment.
Oh, I was riding high. I was, you know, it feels so good when you accomplish a goal. I said it, I wrote it down, and I done it. I went through because in junior college in Texas, you have to pass a exit exam to get out of junior college, reading, writing, and math. And you also had to pass over 80 hours of transferable hours to be Division I qualified. And in all those classes, you at least had to make a C or better.
And you did it.
Transferable.
Yeah.
It made it transferable. So I had to take summer semesters, winter semesters. For the year and a half, for 2 years, I literally stayed at Navarro Junior College.
Why does that not surprise me about you, Michael? You are like steamrolling down, you know, you're following that passion to the end. That like, absolutely, I can picture that. And we have to take a short break, Michael, so I want you to stay with us, okay? And when we come back, we're going to pick up his story and talk more about how his journey and yet the disappointments that were to come that he didn't know about. So stay with us. This is the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about times in our life when we're disappointed, when we're trying so hard for something and it didn't work out, and how do you get yourself back on that proactive path so you can achieve the success that you want. Our inspirational guest today is Michael Montgomery, and he is no stranger to disappointment. Although he had great successes early on, everything was about to change when his health took a turn. So we're about to get into that now, so I'd like to welcome Michael back to the show.
Yes. Thank you.
So, Michael, here you are. You finally make it to Texas A&M. And I mean, that was a dream all on its own. It was part of your life plan. I'm sure you were like sweaty palms, yet so excited that first training day. But then...
Oh, man, I was pumped up.
Oh, I'm sure.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember driving in to A&M on my first trip. I was so excited. I ironed all my clothes. I was just up all night. I was one step closer to my ultimate goal. I was finally playing at a Division I school, playing in the Big 12, playing against great number one college team, number one, the biggest conference, Big 12, playing against Texas, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, playing against a lot of great teams with a lot of great talent. So I was one step closer to my ultimate goal as being an NFL player.
Absolutely. And at this point now, your grades are in check. You're feeling athletically strong, but life does have a way of twisting and turning things around on us unexpectedly. And what happened that day when you just started your training?
What happened that day, I immediately my heart just started beating, accelerating really fast. Felt like my heart was about to bust through my chest. I started to get, dizzy, lightheadedness. And the whole time I was thinking, this is my first day. I'm new to the team, and as a football player and as a competitor, I want all my teammates and coaches respect. So I want to show that I was dependable. I practiced hard, all that yada 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 on the first day, and this was really hindering my ability. I had trouble breathing. I was getting dizzy. I managed to get to a water break and passed out. And I came to, and I was in the training room, and the trainer was talking to a doctor, and he said we had to go to Austin to get tested for my heart.
And that must have been not only scary, but also disappointing. I mean, this was your first day. This is everything that you'd been, working so hard for. And again, scary because what's next? So they flew you to Austin, and then what happened?
I went to Austin and performed some more tests, and the doctor, he said, hey, you're lucky to be alive, and you got a heart disease. And I was like, and at this point, I was still in a surreal moment. I was like this couldn't be real. I'm 19 years old. I'm physically in the best shape of my life, young, healthy. But he said, hey, you got a heart disease you was born with, a congenital heart disease you was born with at birth that allowed your heart to beat irregularly fast. And, luckily with the great training staff at A&M, they came to my aid at the time of my collapse. They properly attended me. But he said he recommended me that, we need to do surgery, and he also recommended that I should never play sports anymore.
And when you heard those words, Michael, what does that feel like to someone whose entire reason for being was to make it to the big NFL, the big time? To hear those words that you would never play again.
Well, it was like somebody just stepped on my heart and just broke it, my spirit, because it was more than me riding on being a professional athlete. I thought about my family, because at the time my mother, she got hurt at her job, and she couldn't work, and she was in a financial situation, and my father was out of the picture, and my nephew was in a bad situation living wise, and I wanted to help out my family, and I knew being a professional athlete would put my family in a better position. I could help out with my mother to get the proper finance she needs to help with her body, because she couldn't work. I could get her that house, and I could adopt my nephew, put him in a better situation to be successful in school. And my brother was, he was in and out of jail, so I wanted to give him a proper resources so he could start his own business. So it was more than just me; it was my family.
You had a lot of reasons to make it, to live that dream. Now, they did the surgery, and they said you shouldn't play sports again, but you did go back. You didn't play right away, but you did go back. And why did they allow you to do that?
Well, they with the proper testing, I had to really prove myself in the condition testing. We had a lot of condition testing and EKG running,
mm-hmm.
to give me the okay. With the doctor from Austin, Dr. Gallinghouse, and with the training, they gave me the okay after I'd done a lot of testing,
mm-hmm.
To give me the okay to come back.
And I imagine it wasn't easy watching your teammates play. I mean, I'm sure you cheered them on because you're a supporter like that. But I imagine
mm-hmm.
that was a difficult pill to swallow, and just the need to fight to get that spot back, a spot that you had earned once. Now you had to earn it again.
Yeah, I could say this. I truly fell in love with A&M on that first game. Even though I was out and I was watching, it felt magical being in that stadium with 90,000 people rocking side to side. It was truly a magical moment. Me just being a spectator. But that's when I was just more motivated to come back, even ever, to get back in Cal Field and play.
Well, and you did that. I'm going to leap ahead in our story before we run out of time, because I could talk to Mike all day long. However, you did prove yourself time and time again, and now it came to the moment where you were crossing your fingers, hoping to get picked up. And when you finally got the offer from the Green Bay Packers, what was that moment like?
Oh, man, it was the best moment, the best feeling I ever had. For all the years and all the workouts and all the the naysayers saying, "Hey, you're not strong, you're not fast." From the guys, from my heart condition ailments, from me not playing much football in high school, it was just a true surreal moment that I was now in a better position to help out my family.
Absolutely. And when you look back, I mean, obviously you were wildly successful with the Green Bay Packers as well. But when you look back and you think about the times when you have been disappointed, when perhaps your body let you down and you're coming up short, what do you think was the secret sauce that kept you going? And how can our audience apply that to their lives?
The secret sauce that kept me going when I faced disappointment was everybody goes through it. I look towards other people that's doing what I'm trying to do, and they talked about their issues and they talked about their setbacks. Everybody goes through something. Not, every successful person has a story to tell. Everybody has failed, but the difference between the 1% and the 99%, that they didn't fail. They didn't stop, and that what made the difference between me and a lot of other people that was in my situation. I just never stopped. Even if I failed, I maybe went to a dark place, but after that next day, I just rubbed it off and just went back to work.
I feel you on that.
For my life over. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you embody so much of what it means to live full out. That never giving up spirit, that working hard, the good work ethic. I mean, I'm so proud of how far you came, and I know you're out there still today helping others, with their health and their motivation, and we very much have appreciated having you on the show today.
Oh, thank you. I definitely appreciate it myself. If anybody want to follow me, I'm on Instagram, Twitter. I am 96GB on social media, and I'm actually writing a memoir about my experience.
Wow.
So looking at that, be looking towards the end of this year.
Why does that surprise me? More
called Heartbeat Away from Destiny. You said what?
I was going to say, why does that not surprise me? I mean, you are such a go-getter, and I love it. But we have to wrap up for now. But thank you so much, Michael, for being on the show. And we'll be thinking about you with these new pursuits.
All right. Thank you so much. And thanks for having me.
You got it. Bye-bye. And when we come back, again, we're going to be taking your calls. Just like Michael went through disappointment, I have been there. And if you're there, we want to get you to a better place. So this is the Living Full Out Show. I'm Nancy Solari. We'll be back. When you're struggling with disappointment, always remember that negative thoughts, the feeling that you may have of failing or a mistake, it's only in that moment. You want to look forward to the future, the next hour of your day, the next week, and know that you have the ability to turn the page and be successful whenever you want.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
All right, here we are, final segment of the show, but always excited to be with you, even when we're talking about a topic like disappointment. Because again, I'm raising my hand, we have all been there. And even as Michael Montgomery explained in the last segment, we're always going to be there. That's the one common thing we all have shared is moments of success, but also moments of disappointment. And it's really important to remember that you can always turn to people in your life for motivation. Not everybody is going to be the right fit. Think about who in your life you can turn to when you're sad and you need kind of an empathetic ear. There might be that person that's a good troubleshooter for technology, or they're book smart, or somebody who's funny and can make you laugh. Think about the people in your life and don't turn to everybody for the same question or need, but think about the right person to turn to. And of course, we're here every week if you don't have that somebody. In fact, we're getting a word from our producer that we have a caller on the line, so we're going to go see how they're doing. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for calling in. How can we help you?
My name's Finn, and I recently have had a problem. I recently got a new job, and I've been really enjoying it, and I really like the job, but since a couple of weeks, I've been getting more and more anxious that I'm not performing well enough, and I feel like that it's kind of getting in the way of enjoying my job and being able to do my best.
And what do you
I just
do?
want to know if there's anything I could do.
What is the job? What do you do?
I work at a skate shop, and it's an online skate shop, and
Okay.
I've always wanted to have a job in that field, and I feel like I'm not performing as well as I could because I'm too anxious that I'll do something wrong.
Well, now has somebody said something to you?
Well, I've caught myself making mistakes that I probably shouldn't be,
Okay.
just because I'm so nervous and I don't double check.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been told that I need to relax a bit more on the job, but I just feel like I can't.
Mm-hmm. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to try to get a little bit more in touch with your body during those times that you're anxious. And, I do public speaking, and so sometimes I get butterflies in my stomach, and or on the radio show, sometimes I'm going fast on what I want to say, and I have very little time to get it out. But whenever you're under a time of pressure, you want to do something that grounds you. So literally, sometimes people will be like in their chair, and they will grab their chair, just hold on to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's clasping your hands and just holding on to it. You want to do something to ground yourself. It's when our hands are free and we're feeling unstable, that's the first thing I want you to do. In that moment, ground yourself. Hold on to a table, a chair, your hands, whatever. At that point, I also want you to remember that out of all the applicants, they chose you. There was something in you. It may have been the passion for the industry. It may have been your personality. It may have been your skills. Mm-hmm. But out of everybody, they chose you. And in life, well, I guess you should say in a business world, we do try to be as perfect as we can, but life is not perfect. And the thing is, when you make a mistake or when you feel like something could be done better, you just want to work harder. You might stay late. Mm-hmm. You might redo something and do it off the clock. You might even tell them, hey, you know what, I feel so bad. I did this, but I just want to let you know about it. That's integrity.
Yeah.
So when people see you standing in integrity, holding your word, confessing when something went wrong, when people see you working late, when people see you redoing work to make sure it's perfect and right, that's admirable. That's what people strive for. You couldn't be a better employee at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, Don't be afraid to ask your supervisors, hey, you know what? How am I doing? What could I do better? And be ready for the answer. But still, that shows that you care, not about just your job, but about the company and doing great work. Is all that something you can do?
Yeah, definitely.
And let me ask you one last thing. Do you believe in yourself?
I do. I think I do.
Okay, take out the word think. Do you believe in yourself?
Yeah.
I do. I do. Not I think I do. I do. So just watch the way that you talk to yourself also, okay? So don't think. You are excellent. You're the one they chose. Always remember that. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you for calling in. Have a great day.
Thanks for the advice.
You got it.
You too.
So I want to thank everybody today who called into the show. It's all about getting over those disappointments in life, but we can do it. And to Michael Montgomery, who shared with us his story of, having that heart disease, yet going on to play for the Green Bay Packers. That's awesome. I'm so proud of him. And most of all, our entire Living Full Out family is dedicated each week. We have Rich and Roger and Riley and Bailey and Kristen and everybody in the studio who just wants to make sure that you are living full out in a big way. We'll be coming back next week with more great shows and guests and Living Full Out. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, Email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.
Thank you for watching the Living Full Out YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button. And if you're interested in the content we provide, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Now, for more inspirational content, click the video on the right to get to know me, Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show and certified life coach, in more detail. Click the video on the left and you'll be motivated by the Living Full Out radio show and our inspirational guests and callers. Keep in mind, we welcome your comments. If you're empowered, let us know. Feel free to leave a comment. We would enjoy hearing from you. And here's to you, living your life full out.